If you're a bloke and you don't understand how training makes you truly happy, then you need to watch this today. This is the difference between a fella who keeps on starting and stopping, promising himself that he's going to finally change and then doing nothing about it, and someone who truly sees the changes that they want to see. This is how you get leaner so your clothes fit better, you get stronger so you feel like you actually belong in the gym, like looking like you lift, and you get fitter so you can finally sign up to a 10k and not feel like you're going to blow up 3 kilometers in. For me, it comes down to determining what success actually looks like to you and the why. Understanding the why is far more important than the how. You can pretty much do anything you like to get fitter. As long as it increases over time, the body will adapt. So now why am I telling you this? Like, surely I should be saying as a coach, I've got the secret sauce, the secret training plan that will 10x your strength and 10x your fitness. In reality, I'm a big believer in doing the basics, doing them right and doing them to a high standard. And unfortunately, the basics are lost on quite a lot of us. Our preconceived ideas about what is going to work, our habits, and the way that the fitness industry has told us that we have to transform. You've got to become someone else, to become this entirely new person who didn't exist before, but I think that's wrong. Think back to when you was younger. If you grew up in the UK, there's a large chance that you grew up playing football and sport. You didn't have to reason with yourself, you didn't have to skip training because you were tired, you just did it, enjoyed it, and wanted to do more. So what if we could bring that back? And that's where I come in. Got a nice little work block done in Tim Hortons. I find that obviously working from home, working for myself, it can get quite a lonely existence. You can get into your head quite a bit. So I find that at least once or twice a week, just spending a couple of hours where I've got to get out of the house, where I've got to force myself into even a social situation, just like chatting to people. I find it helps massively with with your mental health and making sure that you're moving and not just basically going under, being sat in your spare room. I had a conversation with one of my clients, one of my newer clients who's just started with us, and we spoke around about 6 months ago, and it's took him around about 6 months to come to the realisation that ultimately he did want to work with me. It's something he wanted to put a lot of focus into his own training, his nutrition, and that sort of thing. So I said to him, why now? Why not 6 months ago? And one of the things that he said was that he wanted to sort it all himself. He wanted to do absolutely everything for himself, and he sort of felt a bit embarrassed to ask for help. And I think that is very much a male thing. I think that's very much a male-dominated thing to not want to ask for help, not want to admit that you don't know what you're doing, that you've got no sort of rough idea of what you're aiming for. I think it's a very, very masculine thing to just deny whereabouts you are, deny that you need help, because admitting that you need help, admitting that you don't quite know what you're doing, admitting that you don't have all the answers is hard. And it takes being a little bit vulnerable, a little bit shit, I don't actually really know what I'm doing. I do need the help to get to where I want to be. Can you help me do it? For some reason, that seems like the hardest thing in the world for blokes to say. Actually, Liam, I do need a bit of help. Can you help me do it? And this is why I sort of go backwards and forwards in this. I don't want to be reaching and almost cold DMing people and saying, hey bro, fancy coaching. But sometimes it's got to be me that extends that olive branch and say, hi mate, do you need a bit of help with that? Because I can see that you're telling me you suffer from, you don't quite know what you're doing, you've got a lack of consistency, and I need a bit of help. But you don't want to be the one to say, hi mate, can you help me? Which is sort of why I'm doing this Focus 42, why I'm working on this. What I essentially want this to be. I want this to be the introductory offer to what it is like with working with me. Over the next 6 weeks, I'm going to get you consistent with training. I'm going to get your training to the best place that it's been over this 6 week period. We're going to start to introduce little things around nutrition, little things around lifestyle, and move them in the right direction. Trying to change everything all at once, it just doesn't work, because that's when overwhelm starts to set in. That's when we start to struggle with just that trying to do everything all at once. It just doesn't work, which is why I'm doing this, which is why I'm cooking my eggs and doing this at the same time. My hair's all over. I've been winded, but yeah, that's the reason that I'm doing this. Sort of ties into a conversation that I had with my client, and yeah, let's go eat some eggs. Hello brothers, hope we're good. I thought I'd do a bit of what I like to do on a Friday with work is plan the next week and sort of look at, my hair looks mad, doesn't it? That's fine. What I normally do on a Friday from a work point of view is plan the following week. I look at what I've got done across this week, as in the week just gone, and I figured that while I'm sitting down, I'm in the reflective and the planning mood, I would look forward to next week from a fitness perspective and sort of talk about how Monday to Friday's gone. For me personally, the bit where I always used to fuck it up was the weekend, when I've sort of left to my own devices a little bit more and I've got a little bit more time, and I'm not sort of quite as busy, sort of like day to day or like hour by hour, I find it really easy to get distracted, get bored when that level of boredom creeps in. Almost looking for food basically is what I used to do. I used to like be hunting it out, mate. I'd be like a rat. I could smell scratton from miles away. If I was in here and someone locked the door and there was food in that cupboard, maybe an M&S cookie or something, I would flatten myself down like a rat, scurry underneath the bottom of the door, and then find my way in the cupboard. Not anymore. I'm a changed man. I'm a fighting man. I'm a changed man. So I thought I'd talk about this week. Training wise, both my strength sessions have been done. Pretty decent, to be fair. One thing I want to introduce next week is making sure that these sessions get done really early in the morning. Towards the back end of this week, I slept quite badly on Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, so my actual sleep was poor. My sleep was bad, which meant that I didn't get up as early as I wanted to, which meant that everything got pushed back a little bit in my day. And I want to make sure that having a specific bedtime, as in like the time I'm going to bed, not like I'm a child, but having that really, really specific time when you're going to sleep is massively, massively important from like a sleep hygiene perspective. Making sure that pretty much continues on the weekend. Obviously give yourself a bit of leeway, but trying to wind down at the same time, trying to be in bed at the same time, trying to sleep at the same time, wake up at roughly the same time is something that I definitely need to work on going into next week. I've let that slip a little bit. But from a training point of view, both my strength sessions are done. But 2 of my runs have been done. I did a little bit of extra cardio after one of my strength sessions, and my long run is tomorrow, which I'm going to be doing 5k of it with Megan early in the morning, and then I'll continue on for the rest of my run, which however long that takes us, I'll top it up to about between an hour and 10 minutes, just keeping it nice and easy tempo, trying to keep that heart rate somewhere beneath that 155 range, not taking that as a complete like viable, like it's got to be that, just trying to keep that effort level down as much as possible. I find that when I'm running and I'm doing a lot of sessions where my heart rate is quite high, quite elevated, that tends to be when injury starts to set in. It could be running form due to again being pushing it, or it could just be a case of the increased volume too quickly at too high of an intensity is then leading to injuries further down the line. So trying to make sure that really, really slow build is still happening. From a nutrition perspective, everything's been pretty much bang on this week. Pretty much all whole foods. It's not really anything planned this weekend. Because there's nothing planned this weekend, it makes things a lot easier to not I don't have to worry about it basically, or not worry about it. I don't have to do any pre-planning going into the weekend, which is decent. So I'm really, really happy with that. Around about 2,300 calories every single day, eating whole foods. I had that flare up in my stomach. That seems to have gone down a little bit. Like acute symptoms seem to have dropped, which is good. In terms of the healthy habits, the thing that I need to work on the most going into sort of this weekend into next week is the screen time and social media. I find it so easy just to get like obsessed with my phone like that, scrolling, and it's no good for me. I know 110% that I need to do work on that. Like, I know it seems like I'm sort of making a mountain out of a molehill, but I can see like a direct correlation between feeling shit, feeling like I've got no energy, and me just being purposely on my phone. Like, there was in the past where I've spent like so much time indoors, so much time on my laptop, so much time being like head first into work, head first into thinking about what can I do to grow the business, what can I do to attract clients, what can I do to deliver a mint service to my clients. I sort of neglect myself. So being out as much as I can. So one of the things I'm going to be doing, I'm going to make sure that basically in the morning I get everything done on Instagram that I need to in terms of like the posting and that sort of thing, and then I'm just going to delete the app off my phone. It seems like a really extreme thing to be doing, but it's going to be a massive help for me just to keep me not staring at my phone. Going out for a walk with a dog with my phone at home, and I don't take it with me. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy being out of the house. I enjoy being in the outdoors as much as Stockport is the outdoors. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's been a really good first week, sort of Monday through to Friday. Got the weekend plan, like I say, I've got my long run tomorrow, and then I've got, that's pretty much it. Sunday is going to be our rest day, so the sort of videos that I've sort of got planned for tomorrow, what I'm sort of thinking I'll go through. Tomorrow is tomorrow's video is going to be a little bit like a Q&A, questions that I've got off my Instagram story that people are asking around the program, around training, anything like that. I'm going to do a little bit of a Q&A, and then on Sunday Me and Megan are going to sit down and we're going to show how we plan our full week of nutrition as a couple who works a lot, who trains a lot, who tries to keep our food shop down as cheap as possible in order to, save pennies, because it's extortionate being alive at the minute. But yeah, really enjoying this first week. I was sort of in the headspace of like, I need to make every one of these videos like really, really new, like fresh, exciting, have things going on, quick cuts. But in reality, like, that's what fitness is, isn't it? It's doing the same things over and over and over, doing them to a good standard. So I've had a good first week, but yeah, let's get cracking. I'm gonna get this video edited, get it scheduled, uploaded, then I'm going watching The Odyssey for the second time. That's the type of man that I am. I go to the cinema twice to watch the same film. I'm gonna love you and leave you.